So it seems kind of important to have a look at your relationships, right? Given that right now we are experiencing the new moon in Pisces in your opposite sign, and that this period that I'm doing a forecast on will take us around to when the full moon in Virgo is coming. So let's dive into your relationships and connections and sort of drill down into this to a much deeper level. So what I'm going to look at in this short forecast, Virgo, is sort of how you're approaching your romantic partnerships right now and intimacy, how they can be improved or transformed. Also talking about your friendship and social circles and understanding the family dynamics to a greater level. So hopefully that will create a sense of change. If I show you, where's my chart gone? That's weird. Hang on. Whew, I got your chart. So this forecast is taking place from the 28th of February, the new moon, and taking us to the 14th of March, the total lunar eclipse in your own sign. So during that time, the moon is going to move from here right the way around to here. And of course, we're talking about relationships and connections. And the seventh house is the official kind of relationship house. This is where our partnerships show up and our tendencies within our partnerships tend to show up. So this is a big one. You know, I always look at the seventh house when people are asking about their relationships. And in particular, I pay attention to the rulers. And the rulers of your seventh house are Jupiter and Neptune, according to, you know, whether you're traditional or Western. But I like to use both rulers. So, you know, Neptune's already here. So that's seen as quite a good sign, you know, because Neptune is enhancing levels of love and appreciation. However, I know that Neptune also does tend to create a sense of confusion wherever he goes. You know, it's a long-term planetary placement. You know, Neptune is about to change signs. Next month, he's going to go into the sign of Aries. And actually, I think your love life will start to get a bit easier. You know, it will change the dynamics. You'll have a better sense of what people mean when they're relating to you. You know, I think Neptune can sometimes create a sense of things a bit too unreal, you know, and what can you trust? Whereas Jupiter, the other ruler of your relationships, is in your 10th house. You know, Jupiter is in quite an elevated position, even though he's not in a sign that he's particularly happy with. But Jupiter up here is really showing that there are opportunities for expansion and opportunities for you to kind of rise up in your being right now. So, like, let's sort of unpack, how does this all translate to your relationships? So at the time of the new moon, which is a time when you can be sowing and setting the scene for your relationships, and sort of tuning into the kind of relationship you want to be in, whether you're in a relationship or not. It's a good time to really get clear about what's really vibing for you, what's working for you, what's not working for you, what you need to feel secure, and so on and so forth. It's certainly setting you on a path of a new freshness. You know, this is the new moon that anyone who is wanting to change their relationships is waiting for. What I like about this in particular is the 8th house, which has a lot to do with the psychology between partners, and also our willingness to trust each other, and also to be able to have a great sex life with the person we're committed to. You know, Mars is the ruler of this place. Now, it just so happens that Mars has been in a bit of a funk since December the 6th. He went retrograde. He's now just gone direct as of the 24th of February. But Mars now is going direct through this area here. I think is going to really, really help your relationships, in particular, help them get back into a sense of greater trust, to establish a greater sense of physical presence between you. I like it. It's giving the new moon. Sorry, my voice. It's giving the new moon something to kind of hook into. I think it's giving the new moon a sense of direction, and a sense of movement. So I think it's really helpful in terms of your relationships. Now, during this whole period, the sun is going to be in a a lovely long trine with Mars. And so there's a sense of vitality. You know, maybe you're feeling a lot more confident and brave with your relationships. Maybe you're ready to take the plunge. Maybe you're ready to initiate a relationship with somebody. Or maybe you're seeing that the people around you are starting to come into their own power too. So there are some real, I think, strong themes of coming into potency in terms of relationships. And I love that. Now, the 12th, the 5th house here is one of the houses that I always look at in terms of new relationships, and also in restoring innocence to our lovemaking, restoring innocence in our relationships. You know, like how can we almost look at our partners with fresh new eyes? How can we come back into that feeling of unbridled joy and expansion and that sense of anticipation, which the 5th house can really generate? Now, the ruler of your 5th house is Saturn. What I really like about this lineup from the new moon to the full moon is that the sun is actually coming closer and closer and closer to Saturn right the way throughout this time. And of course, the sun is maintaining this beautiful trine with Mars. So Virgo, what I really sense here is that you're coming into a stronger time of physical connection with your partner. And I think the trust that's needed for you to be able to let go a little bit more and to trust in the process of your lovemaking, to trust in the process of your physical connection, and to allow other people to lift you up a bit, allow other people in, allow them to help you relax and unwind and to find a new kind of flow. So I love that. That's you know, my first thoughts seeing this chart. I really think this is helpful. Now, Venus is obviously a planet that people focus on in terms of compatibility and also how flowing and how in love are we and so on and so forth. And she has been she's been in the 8th house, you know, this place of sort of psychological energy between partners, what's shared, the sort of baggage that you share together, and also that sort of sexual energy between you. And so I do think she's probably brought in a feeling of more lovemaking. I love the fact that she is also connected in a great energy with Jupiter, the ruler, or one of the rulers of your 7th house. So it's like you've got a ruler of the 7th house connected to you know, a ruler of the 8th house. So it's a connection between partners and sexiness. And then you've got it replicated again. You've got another ruler of the 7th house connected to a planet in the 8th house. You know, so there are two easy connections showing that you are restoring faith in your sexual connections, but also the trust required to be able to come into a nice physical compatibility. This particular Jupiter and Venus sextile, I think, is restoring hope. I really think it's bringing a sense of optimism in, and giving you a bit of patience in terms of resolving things. Now, it just so happens that Venus is going retrograde from the 2nd, and she is going to be going retrograde back into the 7th house. She will go forwards from the 13th of April, which is quite a way off. When she goes retrograde, you tend to internalize the feelings of love and flow in your life. So you're not so, oh, it's amazing, and swooning at every moment. You know, we are very internalized. We're really focusing on what lights us up and what we value. And so I really think as she's making this journey back to the 7th house, she's really considering, I think you're considering during this time, what you value about your partners, what values you appreciate in your partners. And, you know, she tends to be nostalgic. So it's quite often we go into the past a little bit and remember good times. And, you know, my advice here is, because old partners can pop up during this time and worries about old partners and things like that. So my advice here is, you know, if you see something or remember something from the past that you loved about life and you loved about your love life, don't pine for it, but just think, who was I being at that time? Who was I at that time? And what made me me at that time? And think about how you can bring that younger version of yourself back to life. It's not about recreating the same relationship necessarily, but it's recreating that relationship with yourself. Now, she's going backwards. She's going to connect with the North Node and Neptune. That's dreamy in your 7th house of relationships. So, you know, there could be a beautiful sense of spiritual communion between you and your partner coming up. This is kind of like dreamy wish style, wish. To me, it's like a wish come true. I really see this as being beautiful. But she's also heading back, and she's going to come back very, very close to Saturn when she's going to go direct again. If you remember, Saturn is ruling this part of restoring innocence into your love life. So I think things are working out in the way they should. So just go with the process of what's going on for you right now. I really do think, but that by you come to the 13th of April, you've come to learn more about yourself, come to appreciate yourself more, and that obviously has a knock-on effect in terms of your relationships. Last couple of things. Mars going forwards in the 11th is really making it much easier in terms of your friendships. Mars also rules down here this part of your community engagement and your nearby friends and peers. So again, I think all your friendships are going to be enhanced and strengthened at this time. So there's no real worries there. But Jupiter, that rules your 4th house, you know, Jupiter is a bit inflamed with the new moon and also with the impending full moon. To me, what this is saying, I think, is that it is time to sort of stabilize where you're going. You know, you're not quite in your home life at the moment. It feels like you're outside of the home. You're really in this sort of creative process in terms of your career. I'll talk about that in a second. But, you know, in terms of creating peace at home, I think it comes from within. You have to create it for yourself. And I think Venus coming, you know, Venus in the sextile to it will help you come back into what you need to do at home. I think you will come back into that. So there you go. I hope that was helpful. A bit waffly at the end, but if you like it, let me know. I'm really keen to test different ways to deliver astrology at the moment, and also to help you find a bit more peace and freedom in your own life. So hope that was helpful. Sending you loads of love. Have a great 2 weeks ahead.